Beer Divas, 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 Beer Divas. Welcome to the Beer Divas Show, where wine is dumb and the craft beer world has taken over the dull American beer scene once and for all. I'm your host, Dr. Brewsky, and today we are in Hinckley, Ohio, at one of Hinckley's newest breweries, Hoppy Dudes Brews. And we're going to, of course, start the show with my favorite part, beer reviews. It's beer review time. All right, so we have a plethora of beer to try today. And there's a couple of beers that are very interesting that we're gonna try. So the first thing on the menu is called Chadwick's Hefeweizen. And you guys know I love me some good Hefeweizen. Anything German, I am there. The ABV on this is 4.3%. So if you guys see right away, nice and cloudy. It's got that like orangey, lemony kind of hue to it. I mean, this is like the typical Hefeweizen color. Let's smell. Oh yeah, it's got that banana-y, clovey kind of smell. It smells refreshing. Come on, let's give it a taste. Ah, God, I feel like I'm back in Germany again. It's crisp, it's light, and the clove banana isn't too strong, because sometimes that can be a little overwhelming too, where you wouldn't want to drink this all day. But this is a very, very refreshing beer. You could totally mow your lawn and then have a nice brew after this. This is wonderful. It's great, very refreshing, very light. And with it only having a 4.3 ABV, I mean, you know, the alcohol content's low, so you could have a couple of these and you could drink this all night long. So my review for the Chadwick's Hefeweizen is 8.9. I love it. This is very, very good. Very light, very light. So these guys give you little crackers to kind of cleanse your palate. Brilliant. And they're tasty too. Okay, so we're going from light to the dark side. The next one I'm gonna try is called the Chocolate Nut Lover Stout. So of course, you know me, I'm starting to have the fondness for the stouts. You know, nice and dark. Black is beautiful, right? So, you know, very, very nutty. I don't necessarily smell the chocolate. It smells like somebody put some peanuts in my hand and then put it in the beer. Very, very nutty. All right, let's taste it. Wow, it is definitely nutty. Now the ABV on this is 4.6%. It's got a little bit of that wininess flavor that is usually typical of a stout that has, or a porter that has a higher ABV. But wow, it is chocolate. It's almost like you're eating a Snickers bar without the sweetness. Like, it is delicious. Wow. Now, would I drink this all night long? Necessarily no. But this is almost is like a dessert beer. Like if you have a nice meal somewhere and you have a chance to have this afterwards, it will give you that satisfying relief that chocolate and a little peanut will always do. That is good. So my review for the chocolate nut lover stout is 8.5. Delicious. Love it. It was light. That whitiness kind of lingers a little bit after taste, but very delicious. The next beer we're going to try is called the Crop Duster Farmhouse Ale. The ABV on this is 5%. And as you can see, you know, a little darker straw color, hazy. This smells like the typical farmhouse ale. You've got that real malty flavor. Not sure what kind of malt and yeast that they use, but it smells really good. Very refreshing. A lot of crispness to it. Looks like there's a lot of carbonation. Let's taste. Oh yeah, definitely a lot of crispness to it. A little dry finish, which is typical of the farmhouse ales, and but very light and refreshing. Very good. Yep, it's got that typical farmhouse ale flavor to it, and goes down real smooth, but crisp, and a little dry at the end. Very, very good. This is a great summertime beer. So my review for the Crop Duster Farmhouse Ale is 8.7. I liked it. This is my kind of summertime thing. This and a Pilsner. I like that crispness, a little dry finish. I wouldn't necessarily drink this all night, but really, really tasty. All right, the next beer we're gonna try is called the Strawberry Blonde Ale. The ABV on this is 5%. So right away, it's got that strawberry color, real light, lots of carbonation to it. Oh, and it definitely smells like strawberry too. Hey, let's taste it. Yeah, so because it's a blonde ale, it's got that dry finish, but you can definitely taste the strawberry in this. It's not overwhelmingly sweet. It's not too much of a strawberry. It's very light, but definitely a blonde ale, which is a little bit drier, a little bit crisper than, let's say, a lager or a Gosa or something like that. Wow, that's different, that's refreshing. It almost tastes like a Gosa though, because it's got that tartness to it. So my review for the Strawberry Blonde Ale is 8.4. It's wonderful. It's a great, great, refreshing beer. I wouldn't necessarily drink this all night just because it does have a unique flavor. But if you're looking for something different, and you like strawberries or a lemon or an orange or something, you know, and like a little more tart of a beer, almost like a Gosa, try this Strawberry Blonde Ale. So the next beer that we are going to review is called the Buzzards Brew Pilsner. And this thing is a crazy looking, definitely looks like a Buzzards Brew. It's kind of a creamy color. Never seen a Pilsner like that before. Let's take a sniff. Yeah, I mean, it smells like a Pilsner, right? You've got that certain Pilsner type of smell. All right. Wow, it's got that crispness and that dryness going down of a typical Pilsner. Very refreshing and really light. The flavor's not too strong. Like when you look at this, you would think that, you know, it might be more creamy because it's creamy colored. It might be, you know, just tastes different than it looks, right? But it's a very, very good flavor. typical Pilsner flavor. Dry finish, crisp. Yeah, it was interesting. So my review for the Buzzards Brew Pilsner is 8.3. It's good. I think the color kind of puts me off a little bit because it's so creamy and I don't know, kind of looks like maybe you washed out the tank with it kind of thing, but you know, it still tasted good though. Okay, the last one that we are going to try today is the most interesting one on the menu, and it's called Tickle My Pickle Sour Gosa. So what they do is they use pickle juice in here to get that sourness for the Gosa. So right away you can kind of see, I mean, it's almost a little greenish color, cloudy, okay? Oh my gosh, like right away, it smells like a pickle. You can smell it. It almost smells a little salty too. Kind of like it's on a burger. You know how that burger smells after you take it off the barbecue, right? All right, let's taste it. Woo-hoo-hoo. Whoa. If you have ever had pickle juice, this tastes just like pickle juice, but it's really, really salty. Oh my God, they turned it into a beer. Wow. Definitely sour. Not necessarily a typical tart sour that you get in all Gosas. It just tastes like pure pickle juice with lots of salt. Okay? Definitely one of the most unusual beers that I've ever had. If you want to do something different, check out the Tickle My Pickle Sour. So my review for Tickle My Pickle Sour Gosa is, I'm going 7.3. I mean, it tastes like a pickle juice that has a ton of salt on it. Definitely not something that I would drink even a whole one of. I don't even want to finish that one. But definitely interesting, and I love that these guys are trying different things and kind of mixing up ingredients, right? Because that's what the beer world is, and especially the craft beer world, is you're trying to make yourself stand out, be a little unique, and try different ingredients and kind of mesh them together to make something new and different and exciting. So next up, we're going to go back to Beer School 101 and talk all about the brewing process. And the first thing we talk about is malting. Stay with us. It's school time, kids, with Dr. Brewsky. All right, we're back and we're consulting from the Beer Book for Dummies by Marty Natchell. This guy just has written a nice, easy book all about beer. And what we're going to start talking about is the actual brewing process. And you can't have beer without some type of malt, either wheat or barley, okay? And the first thing that we need to do is malt it. So the first step of brewing is malting, in which raw barley, or sometimes wheat if it's a wheat beer, is converted to malted barley, also known as barley malt or just plain malt. If you want to get technical, the malting process involves preparing the starchy insides of the kernel for conversion into soluble sugars, which of course the yeast then eats, turns it into the alcohol and the carbon dioxide, which is called maltose, by simulating the natural germination process for moisture. Most often, professional maltsters, which are companies that malt the grain with large malting plants, handle the whole process and then sell the malt to the breweries. The mega brewers, on the other hand, usually do their own malting in an effort to control the process as well as the financial expenditure. Thinking that it's a moisture springtime meadow and not the floor of some enormous factory. The barley seedling begins to grow. When this little shoot reaches a certain length, the maltster blows hot air through the bed of grain, and they stop the germination cold. And that turns the grain into malted barley. So that's how you start. You start developing that sugar that's inside the barley or the wheat, and that in turn is what fuels the yeast to do its magic and give us beer. After the malt is dry, the maltster takes some of the malt and roasts it further in a kiln to bring out various colors and roasty or toasty flavors that create different colors and flavors in the beer, much as with coffee beans and coffee. They also heat some of the malt to the point of becoming crystallized, charred, or deeply browned. And that's called crystal malt, black malt, or chocolate malt. It's a bit crunchy and fun to eat at this stage, and it also may be used to make other products like malted milk. So when you do the roasting, that will give you your stouts and your porters, and sometimes your amber ales too, depending on how long that they mill that. And that's what brings out the flavors of the roasty, toasty, or maybe even coffee-ish or burnt flavors, burnt toast flavors that you get in your darker beers. Next up, beer quiz. It's quiz time, quiz time, quiz time, quiz time. All right, we're back and we're gonna do beer quiz. Question number 1. What will cause your beer to foam? Is it A, low carbonation? Is it B, pour the beer too slowly? Or is it C, a frosty glass? And the answer is C, a frosty glass. If it's low carbonation, it's going to be flat, right? And if you pour it too slowly, you'll get a perfect pour every time. You're supposed to pour it at a like 45-degree angle so that you don't have the carbonation build up and give you too big of a head. Question number 2. Ancient Egyptian texts contain over how many medicinal uses for beer? Is it A, 10? Is it B, 100? Or is it C, 1,000? And the answer is B, 100. So they have found different uses that they used to use, anywhere from, you get a cut on your finger, drink some beer, put some beer on it. From not feeling well, you have indigestion, you have something, drink some beer, and it makes everything good. I can't argue with the Egyptians. I mean, they were one of the best civilizations around. So you know what? Beer can cause you to feel better, right? The third and final question. In the 1600s, strong beer was used to ease the pain of what? Is it A, labor? Is it B, headaches? Or is it C, indigestion? And the answer is A, labor. So those poor women that were giving birth, they would, the midwives would come in with strong beer and try to, make them feel a little bit better. I mean, I know if I have any kind of pain, I don't even need strong beer. I can have a weak beer and it makes me feel better. So that's what they used to do in the medieval times. Drink beer and it made the world go around. So that's it for the show today. Thank you, Hoppy Dudes Brews, for hosting me today. It was nice to come in, and Brewer Keith couldn't be with us today, but we still tried his tasty beverages, and I'll be back again so that, we can interview him and he can take us on a little tour of the brewery. Make sure you hit that bell notification and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. Make sure you go out, find a little hole in the wall, and have a tasty beverage with one of your friends. Why? Because you deserve it. And remember, Don't worry, be happy!